Yeah, all right, you know where you are. So here we are back with more stuff. I'm not going to welcome you because I'm told that's a terrible idea. We're going to kick off, as we always do, he says, on the fourth one, with headlines with Mr. President Tom Ass. No, he's just Tom. Tom Jefferson.
Thank you. Okay, our first headline. I'm in a 25-year age gap marriage and spent £61,000 to look better for my millionaire husband.
Right. So this is a woman saying that.
I would presume so.
Yeah. I'm in a
25-year age gap marriage and have spent £61,000 to look better for my millionaire husband.
Okay, so that suggests to me that she isn't very young.
So you're assuming that she is young and that it's an old millionaire.
Younger.
Like a young millionaire and an older lady. And an older lady who's had surgery to make herself look young.
Right. No, yeah, I probably have jumped to that conclusion.
Just feel like that way around, you don't get many news articles written about older ladies dating younger guys.
No, because it doesn't really happen that much. But I suppose if she's really rich, maybe he'd hold his nose. Maybe. Yeah.
I just thought I'd throw that out there for discussion.
You're quite right. Well, if we went on the basis that it's an older lady who's like throwing loads of her own money at the problem, just to kind of keep him interested, keep everything, cinched. Then I could see why she would do that. I could see, it's her cash.
She might have reached that age where I feel like women tend to age better than men generally, but then they reach a certain age where the men kind of go off a cliff completely, and very much older women, I think, carry themselves much better than much older men.
Really?
But maybe that's because they're all spending 61 grand.
Yeah, well,
to ensure that.
Yeah, if you spend that kind of money, kind of ensuring that. But if you're a millionaire, so it doesn't say how many millions, just 1 million?
Could be one, could be 100.
It's usually multi-millionaire if they've got more than one, I suppose.
Yeah. True. So 61 grand is 6.1% of £1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I think, would be a fair amount to spend. Much more than that, you'd begin to kind of bite a little bit. You'd be like, well, I don't know. Mind you, she'd be getting on a bit, so she doesn't really. It would kind of get, compound interest. It depends on how she's invested. We can't really tell. What was it in? What was that from?
Which paper?
Yeah.
That was from the Daily Mirror.
Yeah, they're not going to talk about compound interest in there. So it really depends on decisions that she took. We are assuming still that it's a she, which may very well be wrong.
Yeah, we might have got the complete wrong end of the stick here.
Yeah.
Because it's a Daily Mirror, I don't think they'd be too interested in having pictures of old women.
You think it's flashier to have a
younger lady with an older guy?
Yeah,
that's front page even.
I think it's aspirational. Front page.
That's front page. Yeah.
Aspirational for who? For the men who are going to read it and think I can be old and rich and have a young wife.
Yeah. Most of the men who do read that won't. They might be old, but the other two, probably not.
Not likely to be millionaires.
No. And where's that 61,000? Where's it going? Like, if she's a younger lady, like.
Well, how young? Let's say she's young.
This is it.
How old? What do we perceive the age gap to be in your mind?
Right, I'm saying 25 years age gap. I'm saying if he's 75, she is 50. So she's now having to work at it, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why she's spending that kind of money, trying to kind of haul herself back, to look like 38 or something. You can't really do much. Raquel Welch, who was gorgeous woman, one of my all-time favourites, sort of 60s, fantastic. She was doing plastic surgery when she was in her 20s. Because
Raquel Welch.
de-aging stuff. Because she said, look, I don't want to wait until it's going wrong. I want everything just to stay tight, like starting tight and then keep it tight and keep it tight. To be fair to her, she still looked bloody good in her 60s. So maybe it's not. that is not the story that the world will want us to tell.
No.
They will say, people watching this, and actually not even stupid people, well, nobody stupid watches this. They would say, these people, they would say, don't make people who are, particularly women, don't make them have plastic surgery in their 20s, please.
Mm-hmm.
What you've got to understand is I don't have the influence to make them do that.
Do you think that there is an element of old millionaire husband influence?
Yeah.
He's asking her to do it.
Yeah, I mean, do we think that that's the situation? Because I feel like if that was the situation, if that was the story, then the headline would be, and was forced to spend 61 grand. Whereas this sounds slightly more voluntary.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably, look, she's putting up with some old geezer, even if she's 50, 75, it's not ideal. So she's putting up with him, so she's probably going, look, this is part of the deal. He's a millionaire, and my payoff for that is him dying. So women live longer than men. So she's going to have 30 years at the back end where he's not there, and she's got his money.
Sure.
Might have children, so there's always a bit of wrangling with that.
Then how much do they spend keeping themselves looking pretty for their dad or whatever?
How much? What is that a thing?
I don't know, maybe he's like the head of some sort of plastic surgery cartel of young people trying to appease his need to be surrounded with youth and beauty.
I don't think he charges his wife 61 grand. I mean, unless it's some kind of tax write-off. That's one thing they don't say.
No, because we don't know the state that this woman now is in, or appears to be in.
Could have been a disaster.
Yeah.
Could be in bits.
It could be the same surgery she's just having over and over again to try and get it fixed.
Well, yeah, you have to have Botox forever, right?
Yeah.
To keep it fresh.
If it's the same surgery over and over again, just like keep lifting, lift it,
just fixing that nose ever so slightly, trying to find the perfect angle.
Unless he's ancient.
What, like 90?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody, but yeah. So let's say he's 90, and then that puts her at 65.
25 years, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point she needs to be working pretty hard. I just don't think you'd do that.
No, would you spend 61 grand if your husband was 90 and if you've only married him for the money? And
Yeah,
you're
you'd
waiting
rather
for him
keep
to,
it by
yeah,
then,
and just let
wouldn't
him. How many more years has he got, really?
Well, his eyes won't be very good.
It's a very
So
good point.
it'd be like, I still look great, honest.
And do you want to look sexy for him? Like, do you want a 90-year-old to?
What's he gonna do about
Exactly.
it?
He'd have a heart attack.
It's the excitement.
That wouldn't be the worst thing, I suppose, if that's what her
That might be
ulterior
the plan.
motive is.
Yeah,
The next article is, I broke my husband because I looked too good.
yeah. He fell apart. He's dead and I'm rich. That's next week. And then the kids in the back will go, "You killed my father."
Yeah.
What's headline number 2?
Headline number 2. TV reports on meteor crater that turned out to be dug by a sunbather. Astrophysicists weighed in on the scorch marks and signs it came from above.
That would be really embarrassing if you were one of those astrophysicists.
They are disgraced forever, surely.
But the people who built the hole, they're absolutely loving it, surely.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you'd be at home cackling that you'd fooled the entire astrophysicist community.
But do we know that they were trying to fool them? Maybe they just dug a hole.
Well, perhaps not, but I mean, if I saw a hole that I dug on TV and saw
I'd be delighted.
astrophysics, I'd be calling everyone I knew, saying, you know that hole that all the astrophysicists think is a meteor? I just did that with my little
Put a little rock
trowel
at the bottom of it. Say this is what created the crater.
Oh, if you
Maybe
were
it
trying to
was-
prank them, yeah, that would be perfect.
Maybe like a rock that doesn't belong there. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's like, well, that wouldn't normally be here, so. And that might have scorch marks. What would you do? Maybe with a blowtorch.
It's a very hot
on
day.
Scorch
ground
marks
or
were in air quotes,
something? Yeah.
which makes me think it might just be the residual scrapings of digging a hole.
Yeah, you know how sometimes you dig a hole on the beach and the sand gets a bit black.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, could be that. And I'm like, oh, it scorched it.
I've clearly
Either
not dug
way.
enough holes to getting black sand out of my holes.
Yeah. It's ancient riverbeds. That's what that is, you know.
Oh, really?
Black sand under
Black
beaches.
sand in
yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, this is something you watch this podcast and you learn things all the time. Ancient riverbeds. Next time you're digging a hole, on the beach, look out for ancient riverbeds. There's nothing you can do about it, but they are there. They were there. They were there, and just think of that. So yeah, digging. So you dig your deep hole. Have to be deep enough to get press attention.
How deep is that, do you think?
I think more than a man.
Oh really? Wow, that is.
It would have to be. I mean, if it was like a 4-foot hole, you would think if it was a 4-foot hole, you would think somebody's dug that. If it's a 10-foot hole,
you'd think why?
Why would somebody dig that?
Someone spent all day on this, or a meteorite.
It would have to be a meteorite at that point.
Yeah. Why? Because nobody would go to the beach, and someone would stop them. Someone would say, someone could fall down that, mate. That's too. You need to fill that in.
Okay, then what's the motivation for the diggers to dig a 10-foot hole?
I don't know about you, but I find the beach really boring. I like looking at them and walking past them, but the idea of sitting on one, first of all, I mean, when I was a child, I would go brown, but something happened in my teens where I would burn first. That never used to happen, but I'd go red, and then the red would eventually turn into a brown. But I could never go from white to brown.
That's a real shame. Did you stop wearing sun cream?
I don't think I was possibly wearing enough of it, or I wasn't quite getting it right. Because I had hair then, which was kind of helpful, but you'd kind of miss a bit, and you'd have like finger marks on your skin. Really bad, actually. I mean, you do get checked, because I know some of you. I live in England, and this has happened to me. This has happened to me in England, right? Because even I know like there's some xenophobes out there who think it just rains here all the time. It is raining right now.
Bad example today. Yeah.
So you're right. Yeah, you bastards. You're right. Sometimes you're right. Sometimes you're right. Yeah, you have to be, because it wouldn't be. It wouldn't have the. You wouldn't be able to convince people of your xenophobia if you were never right. But even in this country, you can burn, right? So think of this is a global audience that we have, probably Anglophone. There's a lot of Anglophone countries, or people that can understand the English tongue, who are in a much hotter climate. You need to be very careful, yeah, because you could burn. They probably say this to you, but you need to be very careful, because you could burn, and then you find that you've got problems in like 20 years, or maybe less, fewer years. It's fewer, not less.
It is. So can I throw some countries at you?
Yeah.
See. Okay. So, in terms of needing to be careful.
See if I know the capital city as well. It's good.
Yeah.
Fun.
Great.
Yeah.
Germany.
Berlin. Not much of a beach.
So.
Can be quite hot in summer, but not very, very different to here. So, take care.
Okay.
All right. What else?
Finland.
Helsinki. Yeah. So, no, they don't have, well, I'm sure they've had the odd hot day, but they don't really have very hot summers in Helsinki, because it's quite a northerly, it's a bit like Scotland. Most people in Finland live in the south of the country, because the north of the country is too rural and it's too dark and cold. Okay, so that's fair enough. I don't think you need to go but then they're very, they've all got the super blonde hair.
Yeah, they're very fair.
And that's to do with vitamin D. Okay, that's why blonde hair exists, it's vitamin D.
Is it to soak up?
It's the desperation of well, you need more vitamin D. We've got to get more vitamin D in this body. How are we going to do it? God, turn the hair white. I mean, desperate at this point.
It's quite tragic.
That's why it happens. That's why it happens. It's all to do with how, where you are on the latitude. Any others?
I'll throw one more your way. Serbia.
Serbia, Belgrade. Yeah. Again, not much of a coast. Finland has a lot of coast, but it's not a bit brr.
I wouldn't go.
It could get very hot in Serbia. Yeah. That would be a hot summer. That'd be a hot summer. You need to be very careful, because that's just north of Greece. And we would go to Greece on our holidays, English people, and somebody might go to Serbia, but usually they go to Croatia instead, because there's more beaches.
Yeah.
What to do?
A lot of beach in Croatia.
It's different
Yeah.
quality of heat that you find in a lot of countries. Like they say 25 degrees here can feel like 30 degrees in South Africa.
I've probably said this before, but I had a Somalian cab driver in London. On one of the days, it was 38 degrees here, and some of you will scoff at that. You go, that's not that warm. But he was from Somalia, and he said, today is hotter than it ever is in Somalia, because London isn't meant to be that hot, whereas Somalia is. And he was like, this is really hot. If he's saying that, then I'm going to believe him. So don't be rude about English summers. What's the third one?
The third story is as follows. This is my favourite one.
Wow.
Common breakfast item could reduce risk of dementia.
Brilliant.
It's going to be bacon, isn't it? It's
I was going to
bacon.
say, what do you think it is? And what do you hope it is?
Well, I hope it's something that I have.
Such as?
Well, at the moment, I just have yogurt.
Well, I mean, you can get it. Whatever it is, you can go and...
Yeah, they don't say it. Well, it's not in the headlines.
It's not in the
Because
headline.
what they want you to do is to look
Read
at the
on and
story,
find out
which
what it
we
is.
haven't done. But what I like about that common breakfast item, so it means accidentally you've probably been kind of fixing your problem.
I
like
expect it's going to be like... It's going to be something not fun, like granola.
Granola.
Or something. Yeah, something...
You don't think granola is fun?
I don't think it's like...
Try to make it fun.
I would
don't
say
you?
like a fried breakfast is the funnest breakfast you can have.
I
Or like
think it is.
waffles, or, you know, something really
Waffles
fun.
with syrup? Or
Yeah,
waffles
sure.
with savoury waffles?
Could be the syrup.
If it's the syrup, that's fantastic news.
I was in Miami and had some... They put some waffles and then just like a great big sort of breaded pork steak on it. And you put maple syrup on that. That was didn't need
Was
to
that breakfast?
eat again. No, it was actually lunch.
Right.
So it's kind of. But we were talking about waffles. You could have. They'd make it for you. I think if you went there and if we'd been there 3 hours earlier, we could have ordered it. No one would have said, "Oh, you can't do that." So it wasn't like a McDonald's type deal. It's pretty cool, but common.
So yeah, what do you think it is? What do you think it is?
I go bacon because it's always in and out of headlines. Oh, bacon causes this. Oh, bacon cures that.
Bacon's so popular and so beloved that it's almost not worth talking about if it's anything else, you know?
Bacon is kind of offsetting. Bacon is neutral, not for people who not like vegetarians and things, but bacon is neutral in health benefits.
It's the Switzerland of breakfast items.
Yeah, because it's got you need a knife to cut it, so that's another Swiss thing. Does it go with chocolate? Probably.
Yeah,
They must
I don't
have
know.
chocolate-covered bacon.
Surely that would be great, now you say
Definitely
it. Yeah.
Swiss cheese and bacon. But it's neutral in the sense that there's bad things for you and there's good things for you, you know. So you just like, well, I eat this, and in some way I'm killing myself, and in other ways I'm not killing myself, and it cancels it out really. So have as much bacon as you like. We don't know it's bacon, it might not be, but I don't think it'll be cereal because they're always bitching about cereal and how it's really just
Really
sugar.
sugary, yeah.
It's not. If you're in America, it is. Some of you will be. But in this country, sugar in cereal is really a long way down. You have Americans, I'm talking to Americans now, you have something called Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which is unbelievably awesome. It's fantastic. We used to have it. And then what happened was the government of the day said, oh, this is too tasty. And nobody can sort of act in moderation. Nobody's sort of sensible enough to kind of make their own choices about things. What we'll do is we'll reduce the sugar in this. And eventually they reduced it, and then it got rebranded to something called Curiously Cinnamon. And the only thing curious about it was how awful it was. Okay?
Where all the flavour went.
It was, you know, they could come to us and we could be sponsoring that next week. And I'd do my best, and I'd probably, you know, delete this video. But oh my God, crap, awful.
Yeah.
And the original thing is brilliant.
That's sad.
Why do they do this?
But you can't trust British people to have something too exciting for breakfast, because then imagine how miserable we'd be for the rest of the day.
The hand of the state says you will not enjoy. You won't enjoy because somebody went too far. Oh, cinnamon toast crunch, it's lovely, isn't it? But there's a guy who ate 4 boxes in one sitting and he's on a drip now. And you go, so you can't have it. Do you know what I say? Shoot that guy. Shoot him. Dead. Shoot him dead. Or pull his drip out and don't put it back in. And then give me what I want.
Quite right. What if it's the cinnamon crunch that's the magic breakfast ingredient curing dementia?
Yeah.
Well, what was the source?
That was
Breakfast
the
Weekly.
Liverpool Echo, so it's probably bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They love their bacon in Liverpool.
It won't be. Yeah, they can't get the cinnamon stuff even in Liverpool.
I don't think they've got cinnamon up there yet, have they?
It wouldn't grow there.
Mm.
Not with all that rain. So that's the headlines. End of part 1. There'll be something in the way, and then that's the Nirvana song, isn't it? I won't sing it. See you later. We'll be back soon.
Did you get another unsatisfactory apology? Well, now there's the sorry stick to change that forever. Just make the person who wronged you pee on the stick, and our clever color coding will give you a result in 2 minutes. The sorry stick measures sadness in urine with 50% accuracy. It's win-win. Remember, if they're sorry, they'll pee.
All right, so I'm sure you enjoyed whatever the hell that was. We're back with what is now becoming a regular thing. I say that because it's the second time we've done it. This part is called Late to the Party. And what that means is we try and drag mileage out of something that you were talking about a couple of weeks ago. The reason we can do that is this is not shot live. I make sure that I'm as honest with people as I possibly can be. I don't know if you can see in the back of that shot, 21st of September. God knows when you're seeing this. If you see this the day it comes out, it's probably 2 weeks old. That's because I'm a very busy man, all right? And I can't just be at your beck and call to make videos. I make them when I'm available, okay? But I thought, let's make the most of that situation and talk about something that was being talked about on the 21st of September. Only we won't talk about it directly because legal trouble, all right? First of all, though, I'm going to talk about what we talked about the last one, which is somewhat kind of filtering out of all your YouTube channel excitement, which was like the Snow White thing. The Snow White thing, you might not
see this.
They're
No.
different bubbles, you see.
The girl getting on about how Snow White's awful or something.
Yeah, she hates. So the girl that they cast as Snow White hates Snow White.
In the upcoming remake.
Well, we say it's upcoming. Is it going to come up?
Sorry, yeah, go on.
No. Well, no. I mean, this is the point. So she came out, and everything's kind of backwards because she said some stuff about a year ago at a kind of junkety thing, going, oh yeah, old Snow White was awful. I hated it. The ride scared me. By the way, I'm Snow White. And then there's some stuff that she did, and at the time, not many people paid attention to this because obviously her publicists and Disney like buried it because they were like, God, stop her saying that. Somebody had a stern word with her, and then much later on, you know, only a few months before all of this broke, she was going on like the various like talk shows that they have in America, kind of identikit thing that they've been doing since the 60s that doesn't really work anymore. And she was going on those, going, oh, I love Snow White, it's so brilliant. But then having said that, all of this comes out. She's like, I hate it, it's stupid. What's there a prince for? Why is he stalking her? And people are very unhappy. And she's very unpopular now. She doesn't come across well. But I'm sure she's not really that much for wrong.
Who is it?
Her name was Rachel Zegler.
Yeah.
She was in West Side Story
Oh, okay.
and something else that bombed.
Shazam. The latest Shazam
She
film.
was in the Shazam, right? Yeah, that bomb too.
Mm.
So it's a bad thing. You got 2 bombs to your name, and the third thing, which you really don't want 3 bombs to your name, because then people start calling you Rachel Bomb Zegler. That's what, because 3, you can start putting nicknames. When somebody does something 3 times, like Pele won the World Cup 3 times, so people say, Pe World Cup winner, Lay. Right? I'm sure I haven't made that up.
So is it canned?
Oh, today, as of today, no. But things are not looking good. There's a lot of discussion on YouTube, so it must be true. A lot of discussion about, hey, it might end up streaming only. And they've sunk a lot of cash into that.
So yeah, production's started.
It's shot. No, it's shot.
Oh, it's
shot.
Oh well, then they're gonna have to do something.
Well, they spend such a crazy amount of time on the actually launching the thing, that it's like the Batgirl thing where they spent Batwoman or Batgirl, I can't remember which one, where they spent $90 million making the film. They made the film was shot, the film was edited, and then they got responses from test audiences that were so horrendous. They said, just hide this in a cupboard. We will never release it, because to do all the junket for it is another 50 or 60 million. Let's not spend that money. Let's just take the hit. And I don't know why they spend so much money on these bloody junkets. It's going straight in Johnny's pocket. That's what I think. But I'm telling you now, this is heading in the wrong direction. I don't think they're going to do that junket, because that will involve this girl talking to people again,
being asked over and over and over and over
what
again.
will she say, and the reporters, unless they're absolute shills, they're going to come to her and they're going to say, well, how come you said it was awful in September 2022, and yet in March 2024, when all of this is happening, I'm projecting ahead, what's changed? Why is it so great now? Why do you love the original film, aside from Disney re-releasing it in 4K? And what will she say? How clever is she? She could be really clever, but is she that clever?
It's not something you can get away with. I watched it again and actually thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I just didn't remember it
I've
properly.
reassessed, yeah.
What you've done there is you have basically said what the publicist would say to her. It will not be any cleverer than that.
I mean, what else could it be?
You watched it again and you liked it.
Yeah, what else could it be?
She'll say, oh, well, when I did watch it originally and it scared me, I was 5.
Yeah.
But now I'm 23. It isn't really scary.
And all the reporters will go, oh.
Problem solved.
Okay.
That'll work. Anyway, so that was last time. That's dying out. Or it's dying back until, because she's like undercover, kind of helped by this strike, probably. She's got nothing to say. Don't say anything. If I was Rachel, I'd be quiet for a bit. Cross me fingers. That's what I'd do. So, but we're not talking about that, even though we just have. What we're going to talk about is something, that's just kind of up in the air a little bit at the moment. And if you're really kind of paying attention to things and you're a bit clever, which is sort of kind of what I demand from viewers. So if you don't really think about things and you're not clever and you're still watching, please stop watching. 3, 2, 1. Okay, they're gone. So who's left is all the clever people who think about things. So basically what we're going to do, never done this before, but I love breaking, well, it's not new ground in entertainment, but it's new ground in this room. We're going to do a role play based on trial by media. Yeah? Or maybe this side. Yeah? Trial by media. So you will want to know the rules of this role play, and I will read them to you. And the reason I'm reading them is they're written down quite well, and I would forget certain nuances because there's so much going on in my brain. You wouldn't believe it. Okay. So for this role play, this is not me saying this, right? For this role play, I'm an international playboy. I am a bit like that, but I'm not all the way there. I'm an international playboy. I'm accused of being a phantom jewel thief, who steals large diamonds from museums for fun. I've never been caught with a diamond. I've never been caught at a crime scene. But diamonds disappear from museums when I'm in town. I have many enemies. And I'm a Marmite figure to the public. Yes, if you don't know what Marmite is because you're foreign, Marmite is a substance that you put on toast, and the idea is that you either like it or hate it, because it's quite an acquired taste. So the idea is that, you know, some people are like, this is really nice, and other people are like, oh, this is awful. Weirdly, I don't mind it. Right, but the question is, am I a jewel thief? All right. Now, you two are allowed to question me. You do not represent the police at this point. This is not like an official police interrogation. But you are reacting to reports in newspapers that I am in fact a jewel thief. All right? So this is where great acting comes in. And we will assume those roles. We will assume those roles now. Now, it will happen. It's going to suddenly start happening. So, I'm Roger Dunwoody. Roger Dunwoody, international. I just made that up. Roger Dunwoody, international playboy. Here's my cigar. Yeah, international playboy, wearing diamonds. Coincidentally.
Suspiciously.
Well, that's what you say.
Flaunting it.
Well, I wouldn't say we're started now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm flaunting anything.
Well,
Diamonds aren't illegal.
But I'm sure you've heard the rumours about yourself, Mr. Dunn.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Where can't I go anywhere without this following me around? I have to say, I'm so annoyed. I'm going to talk to my lawyers. If you dare to bring up this ridiculous notion that I am a diamond thief, dare you? You have to.
Yeah. Where did you get your necklace?
I paid for it like a normal person who can afford diamonds would pay for it. Okay? He's a jolly soul. Yeah, it was. What would it cost? 25,000 guineas. 25,000 guineas for this tie.
What era are we improvising?
1972.
Right.
Velvet. It's velvet. The seats are velvet. 1972. Yeah, Roger Dunwoody. Come back. Right.
I must say it's quite convenient that, well, not or inconvenient for you, you might say, that whenever you're in a town, a diamond of some description would go missing.
Yeah.
Why would that be convenient for me?
Well, it's just that it's happened
Just odd timing.
33 times.
33 times. I can't help it if the local police in the places that I visit can't get a handle on crime. Well, I wouldn't say it's petty theft. Grand theft. Okay. What makes you think that I would know how to steal diamonds from museums on 33 occasions and not be caught in at least one of those heists? Surely impossible. Only the greatest of all supervillains could achieve such a goal.
Great indeed. I mean, if you were to do it, how would you do it?
Well, if I were to steal diamonds, which would obviously be wrong, then I would, I imagine, use a series of darts and targets and mist for the laser stuff, which they might have, which they did have in 1972 probably. Okay, so that's one way you could do it. But obviously, that explanation is nowhere near enough to suggest that I could have done such a thing, because it was thin at best.
How do you make your fortune?
How did I make my
Yeah,
fortune?
and how do you continue to
How
live such a lavish,
dare
extravagant
you.
life?
I am an aristocrat.
Right.
Yeah, Roger Dunwoody, the Dunwoody family.
Oh, of the Dunwoodies, I see.
Yeah, the Dunwoody family. We made our money in cheese, going back to the 1300s. We were the kings of queso, the Spanish arm of the family,
Mm-hmm.
and we took over Gloucestershire, double Gloucester. Mm?
That's a Dunwoody original.
That's a Dunwoody original.
Before
Yeah,
then, it
but-
was just single Gloucester, I hear.
Mm.
I wouldn't touch the stuff. It's awful.
What do you change to make a double Gloucester rather than a single Gloucester?
Do you know something? It's probably too detailed to explain to you.
Of course.
People who don't, layman in
We're
cheese
not in the biz,
terms,
yeah.
Yeah,
When-
it would be like a waste of time.
we're just common media folks.
It's like explaining fine art to a pigeon.
So how do you explain that you've been seen at each of the museums on the day that these diamonds have disappeared and in proximity to the diamonds themselves? That's suspicious. That makes you a suspect, don't you think?
Well, I didn't know that I'd been to all of the museums. I thought that the rules of engagement were that I'd just been in the town at the same time.
Well, I've
Oh
read
God.
that you were in the museums.
You've read a lot of things. You've read a lot of lies. This is the problem. What you've done, what you're doing in the media, is trying to push me as a jewel thief. You're saying,
We're just asking questions, I think.
yeah. What I'm concerned about, put this down. What I'm concerned about is that you have decided, just on the balance of probability, that I am a jewel thief. That I have had something to do with all of those diamonds going missing. And the more you say it, the more people believe it. And let me tell you, gentlemen, that's defamation of character.
I think it's more supposition. Like we're supposing, because you flaunt your diamonds that you've bought yourself quite proudly. You seem to be a diamond fan.
25,000 guineas.
You're going to all these places that have diamonds that then go missing. What is leading you to the towns if it's not for the diamonds?
Well, they tend to be, if you can imagine the cities of the world that have museums that would contain diamonds, those tend to be kind of cities that cheese aristocrats, easy to say, cheese aristocrats would visit. I don't get my hands dirty in the factory.
Of course.
I never did. My job is to take dividends from the profits of the cheeses, and with those dividends I travel the world to the finest cities, and no city could be considered fine if it does not have a museum containing diamonds. Now, I am very sorry to hear that the finery of those cities is diminished now, since the diamonds are no longer there. And I hope that the perpetrator or perpetrators of the diamond thefts are found. But I put it to you, unless you have evidence, gentlemen, and unless you are going to bring charges against me, you must stop conflating me with anything diamond related, even if I'm wearing a suit made of them.
Oh, that's an evolution.
Well, we apologise if we've offended you in any way. What would you have like a not a solution, a guess as to how it's going on? Like this happening in the towns that
Or
you're going to?
who it might be.
Yeah.
Why would I know the criminal responsible?
Well, you move, or criminals. Well, you move
Yeah.
in a very elite circles of people who might have a lot of access to perhaps some advanced technologies or know-how of these, the layouts of these fancy museums. Perhaps you have an
Are you
inkling-
presuming to tell me that, as you may be, that I have been offered stolen diamonds, being in elite company.
Well, if that's what you're saying, you
Well,
might have,
no.
if you've been offered them.
No, I never
Would you
have.
accept a stolen diamond?
Well, if I knew it was stolen, absolutely not.
How would you know if it was stolen?
Well, what you tend to do is you ask people, and they say, no,
And
is this
that's-
stolen? If it's a man in an alleyway who does sort of like that with his coat and he's got all diamonds, I would think that would be suspect. I would say, why am I here? Why am I in this alleyway?
But if it's an aristocrat at a dinner, just
Yeah,
telling you
just
about
offering
this
diamonds.
diamond
Yeah.
haul I've come into.
It would be rude to suggest they're stolen.
So you take it simply to save face for a fellow aristocrat.
If I like the diamond.
What is it that attracts you to a diamond? Like what do you like about them?
Well, I like girls. And girls
And-
like best friends.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what you do is you wave a diamond in their face. Yeah.
Right.
And they go, ooh, okay.
Do you think a woman would find the allure of a stolen diamond more exciting than one acquired by legal means?
Maybe a fallen woman.
Is that the sort of women that you like to associate yourself with, Mr. Dunwoody?
Well, I wouldn't like to say. My wife could see this. No. Edna is all I need.
And does Edna like diamonds?
Yes.
Does she have an insatiable need for diamonds?
Well, Edna's 50, so we don't really think about those things anymore.
How old are you, Mr. Dunwoody?
55. Well, there we are. You haven't caught me.
Were you the diamond thief?
I was the diamond thief. You haven't caught me, but you get about 10 minutes to go, and you couldn't do it because there we are. So what he successfully did there, Roger Dunwoody, who doesn't exist. That was me playing him. What he successfully did there was parried your attempts to incriminate him, and he made the point that you should not have associated him with diamonds. Okay?
Yeah, well, you did
So-
tell us that you were wearing a diamond necklace and a suit made of diamonds.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, because what I wanted to do was maintain the ambiguity. Okay?
Right.
So that people didn't know for sure, the watchers, that I was the diamond thief. I'm not sure if he is. He likes diamonds, though. That's just kind of what we said there. Does like diamonds. He's got a lot of enemies, which he didn't really get into. I mean, this is probably just the way that I kind of cunningly diverted
Maneuvered,
attention. So yeah, but that's the problem. So he's getting questioned about something he did do in this instance, but they can't prove that he did it. Yeah? So that's wrong, isn't it? I think it's wrong.
Definitely.
You have to definitely do the thing, definitely do the bad thing, and have somebody prove that you did the bad thing. That's right. But whether you've done the bad thing or not done the bad thing, if people can't prove you've done the bad thing, then they need to shut up.
Well said.
All right? That's the end of part 2. Join us again. I guess it's part 3. I've not got to change what the order of the numbers are. It seems pointless. Right, see you in a minute.
Spin the wheel of random at Precipice Motors to choose your next car. EV, hybrid, hydrogen fuel cell. No one knows which one will actually become commonly used, and billions is being wasted on guesses. So why not leave it to chance? We even had the government in here last week trying to spin themselves.
Hurrah! You're back for part 3. Part 3 is, are you worried enough about this? And when I say you, I mean you. Are you worried enough about this? This is the End of the World podcast. So it is implied in that title that we talk a bit about disaster. And we talk about things that are affecting the world and could kill and destroy us all. So we did that last time. We talked about, don't worry about climate change because these things will kill you first and all of that kind of caper. So we're just kind of carrying on with that thing. Are you worried enough about this? Okay? Now, every time you turn the television on, if you have a television, probably a computer now, or maybe your phone, probably, I bet you've got a laptop. Some people don't have TVs. And the people that don't have TVs love to tell you they don't have a TV. Oh, I don't have a TV. You're like, all right.
You got a laptop, so.
What do you point your furniture at?
Yeah, exactly. This is it. At each other. Like this. I don't live like this.
This is fake.
When these people leave, I don't have the chairs like this. I have the chairs in such an unusual fashion.
They'd never guess.
They'd never guess unless they've seen it in another video. So I have the chairs in a weird fashion. That means people come here, usually women, and they comment about, why are your chairs like that? Because it always, they're a bit more feng shui lasses.
That's the idea though, right? Get the ball rolling, conversation starter.
Yeah, so I can't, because I don't know what to say to them most of the time. So what I want to talk about though, because we've got to focus on, if you want to talk about the news, you have to scare people, okay? Because that's what you get off your laptop, you get off your phone, are you worried enough about this? What's going to kill me this week? Only one thing, probably only one thing will kill you, yeah? It'll be a disease, it'll just be something packing in because you're very elderly, could be a natural disaster, could be an accident of some form. Probably, I can't think of anything outside of those.
Murder?
Yeah. Cars? They could be quite dangerous.
That's an accident though. I think that comes under accident.
I suppose, but people driving poorly these days.
Murder isn't an accident though, because then it's manslaughter.
But cars could come under accident or murder.
Oh.
Or natural disaster.
Yeah, if someone deliberately ran you over.
Quite a flexible death machine.
Yeah.
Some say, yeah.
So what I wanted to talk about though, because those are all the ways you can die, got those covered, that's important. But this isn't so much something that will kill you immediately, it's just something to think about, probably something that will worsen your quality of life, potentially, or may improve it if you kind of invest in the right way. Demographic collapse, very popular topic, okay? Demographic collapse. And what is demographic collapse? You're asking me. You probably know because you're watching us. You probably know, but we need to say for people who don't know. So that is effectively when you have an aging population. That's something you hear a lot in the news. We've got an aging population. We don't have young people to replace them, and the elderly die, and then there's less people. But the horrible part isn't that bit, because when you've just got less people, you go, okay, or oh, granny, okay. The horrible part is the bit leading up to that. The horrible part is the part in about 20 years from now, when you have, it's coming here in 20 years, in some places much sooner. The horrible part is loads and loads of old people who haven't died yet, and they're sick, they're unwell, coughing, losing their marbles, and you don't have enough young people to pay for their care. So they're just kind of walking around, milling around, pottering.
Doddering?
Doddering.
Ambling.
Yeah. Ambling. Yeah.
These are old people words.
These are old people words. Ambling around. Doddering. I would say doddering is after ambling.
Yeah, you amble and then you dodder like 5 years later.
And then you don't move at all, I think.
That's the end of the Sphinx riddle, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like
I dodder in the evening.
The Sphinx riddle.
I have 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the afternoon, and 3 legs in the evening. Then dodder at night or something.
Oh, okay. You're a Sphinx.
I could be a Sphinx.
You could be a Sphinx.
I wouldn't tell you if I was.
They reckon they faked that. Like it used to be a dog head and then they just cut it off. There's loads of videos about that. Because loads of people don't believe Egypt exists. Like, it does, it's there, it is there. And then they're like, oh, aliens built this stuff. You're like, well, what for? They They never came back.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
don't do much.
Imagine being an alien 4,000 years ago, because that's how old they are. If you're an alien 4,000 years ago, what's that planet? Bit of, well, it's kind of sandy over there. If they know what sand is, I'm interpreting, obviously. It's sandy over there. Should we build some big triangles? Yeah, let's do that. And we're assuming it's as easy as that for them. Yeah, there we go. Never think about that again.
See ya.
Bye.
Pop over to the farmland and make some crop circles and then head off.
Yeah. Now, far be it from me to understand the mind of an alien, but with my human brain, imagining using that human brain to be an alien from 4,000 years ago, I don't see the point in that. What is the point?
They might have a higher purpose that we don't know yet, maybe.
Yeah.
There is that thing that they're pointing directly at stars in the sky or something.
Okay.
Or one.
This is where we are.
The Great Pyramids pointing true
This is
north
where we
or
live.
some crazy.
Okay.
They all
thing.
point up. I suppose
Yeah,
they're always going to point
they're
at
all
something.
generally up.
Right. Yeah, okay. It's up there.
But they're not. They're apparently not straight. Like they're not
Oh, okay.
perfectly straight.
Because they're pointing at something.
Because they're pointing.
They should have put it. They
specifically.
should have put them directly under the thing they wanted to point at.
Yeah, or they should have just written on the side of it. I had to make this bit wonky, so was pointing.
It's like this
And
for
that's
straight
a
stones.
reason.
Yeah.
It's like this for a reason. And you go, okay, thanks. In English, preferably.
Yeah,
Not in,
that would be.
you know,
I
cat
don't
and-
speak hieroglyphic.
Yeah, and all of that stuff.
What was that second
It's
one?
unhelpful. That's where they do that, isn't it?
That's
Is that-
snap banana ram.
That's the Bangles. So you're getting your 80s girl groups mixed up.
90 BAs.
The Bangles. It's a good song.
Great song.
What was that other one they did? Oh, Eternal Flame. I shouldn't sing it because we get copyright strikes. Banana Rama. Robert De Niro's waiting, talking Italian.
Copyright.
Yeah, it's too close to the record. And that was when Robert De Niro was quite young, actually. So, because now it'd be like, why are they interested in him?
Yeah,
Then they're quite old. So
and that leads us perfectly into
demographic collapse. Yeah, so it's going to be, supposedly, this is what I hear, because I watch YouTube all the time now, because I'm trying to understand its ways. I think I am understanding its ways, because people definitely liking what we're doing. So I'm trying to understand its ways, and one of the things they're always talking about is this demographic collapse and what it's going to mean.
Mm-hmm.
When I was born, which was not as long ago as you think, there were 4 billion people on this planet, shade over 4 billion, and now it's 8 billion because the population did this. Yeah, we've talked about exponential before, where it's going along and it does that. And it has to do that because this is time and this is numbers of people. It does that. And so 4 billion people in 1980, and then it was 2 billion people in 1900. It's 1 billion people in 1805, right? So it's like Napoleonic, yeah? And it's just sort of, and then it just went up like super crazy. We reached peak child, this is educational, we reached peak child about 15 years ago, and that is the point where there will never be more children than there are now.
Point.
And so now we're just falling off. Now, I did a bit of research into this, and it turns out, for us, it's nothing to worry about.
Oh,
Because, yes, the population will collapse, but the really worst part of that will be dead.
Yeah, so it's for the generation after
Yeah.
us that are going to have to muddle through.
God, they got so much to deal
They've
with.
got a lot of shit to wade through,
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah. But you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful when you say that, because it stops people having kids now. And if we don't have kids now, then when we're old, nobody's looking after us.
Mm.
It's kind of like their life is going to be terrible. It's going to be awful. Okay. Sometimes I joke. I've got family who've got small children who are therefore family also, and I always kind of joke with the family. I go, ooh, Have you taught her how to use a gun yet? You know, she's 4.
In preparation for the downfall of man.
Yeah. I'm like, in 30 years, she's going to need it. She's going to need it. Yeah. No, that's not. It's possible.
So do our generation need to have children, in theory?
Oh, it's
I
probably.
feel like our generation are getting dogs and plants.
Yeah, much more so. I'd much rather have dogs and plants than a child.
They stay the same size.
When it dies, you can just get a new one, and it's fine.
Yeah. Well, ideally, children don't die.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So, because the problem with dogs is there's that kind of inbuilt grief situation, because that never really goes away. Because if you've raised a child, assuming you've raised them well, then when you're 80, the child that you have is 55, let's say, and they've made it that far, and they probably know how to look after themselves. So you're like, okay, even if you don't like them very much, you probably just go, oh, carry on. They'll be fine. I'm about to die, but they'll be fine. They'll be fine. If you're 80 and you've got a dog and you're feeling a bit unwell, you're like, oh, who's going to look after the dog? So you're worried about the dog then. And if you're younger than that, then you're going to outlive the dog. So you've got an inbuilt grief coming. I see these people. I was in the park today, because when it wasn't raining, it was actually quite nice today. One of those confused days. I don't know if you've ever been to Melbourne, but it was a bit like that, where it's just like raining, sunny. And I see people with their dogs, and I go, and I look at them, and I go, you probably got 4 dogs left. And that's like 4 grief stages. Because people really get, I don't think this is news, people get really attached to their dogs. They go, oh, I love my dog.
Yeah.
My dog's like family. I've never really understood that, but I can see why you would like something that you spent loads of time with, okay? So you're going, right, you're 20 years old, you buy a dog, it dies when you're 33.
If you're lucky.
Right, okay, so I'm being lucky here. You've got over it by the time you're 35. You get
New
another dog, you're unlucky, and it dies when you're 42. That's unlucky, right? 7 years?
Yeah, that's not great.
Right, that's pretty bad. You had 2. You're still a relatively young person, and you've had two dead dogs in your adult life. It may have happened when you were a kid as well.
Let's say you get a border collie puppy. That thing can live for like 18 years.
Right, that's what you should get.
That's a big chunk of your life gone on one dog.
What's the longest living dog?
Border collie.
I
That's
don't know,
why you brought it up.
What's the record? I just know a lot of very old sheepdogs. You know, my parents live in the country, and we go on a walk, and you go through a farmyard, and there's a border collie there, and the dog's like, oh, he was born in 72 or something, and these
hardy dog.
Yeah, hard dogs.
Mostly wheels now. And
yeah, large
one
ones.
leg
that's
to drag
cute,
himself
isn't it?
along.
And back legs too.
Yeah. Just like if you've ever seen Return to Oz, that's for people who've seen that. A bit like that, but a dog. Yeah, so no, but it's far worse, because dogs. Some dogs will start eating people if they're not fed, but most of those dogs that you see, that I see as well in the park, will be pretty helpless.
Well, we've bred them into a state of helplessness, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so. They might kind of fight one another, but they won't really be a threat to us. Maybe, take a duck from the pond or something, possibly, that kind of thing. It would be interesting. Terriers are quite good with rats.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, you see a terrier with a rat. That'll be on YouTube somewhere. Careful.
Vicious.
It surprises you, because they're kind of yappy and you don't take them very seriously. Death. They're killers. They are killers.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So we need to be definitely taking this very seriously if we care about people other than ourselves. And that's one of the things that we're not doing very well nowadays. Not me, but young people. This is the worst thing. So what young people we have, they're not really kind of, I'm more interested in my phone actually. You go, sit down, I'll tell you some really important stuff that will change your life. I'm on this app, That's kind of how
Candy
it is.
Crush or whatever they're doing.
It's a shorter attention span, I suppose. Like they don't have the younger people of today don't have that built-in attention span to look after something for 20 plus years.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot more planned obsolescence in their lives now than I guess there were when we were growing up. You know, like my first phone wasn't designed to break, like, you know, or at least as quickly as a, you know, I could have that thing now. Yeah, it's definitely gotten worse.
Oh yeah.
And I also think that as young people, as the world around them becomes more focused on how useful you are, you know, like how much you can create or provide or, you know, like input into the system of the world, they start to value life by that metric. And so when they see an old and the old can no longer contribute to that system in the same way that a young person can, they lose value. And so they're sort of shut out from the system, from society, which is what you're saying about not caring about people that aren't us.
I suppose that's why they keep making all those films about older people suddenly turning out to be action stars.
Yeah. Is that to give the olds hope, or do you think that's to give the young people hope?
I reckon it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
Like, they shows, oh look, Liam Neeson can save his daughter, and he's like 65 now.
So kiss your grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be a lot more.
You never know when you need them.
Well, you know, I think also they're running out of bankable stars because the lack of attention span.
That's the real demographic.
They don't really learn the lines. They go, what? You know, a bit like, oh no, this is 100 grand every 5 minutes. Could you do? Oh, I didn't learn them. What? You know, bring me. Where's Harrison Ford gone? Yeah, and this is why. This is what happens. And of course, they're partitioning people. So because they're always doing that. That's always in the news, isn't it? And it's on the social medias, where they go, right, okay, you're in a generation now. Depending on when you were born, they go, you're in a generation, and you can only talk to your own people. They say that Generation Z. Is
that the new one?
They have Generation Alpha, but they're children. They are children.
Gone back round.
Yeah, they have to start again. They didn't think of that, did they? Generation Z, I think 25 and under, like 25 to like 15 or something like that, right?
Gen Z.
Maybe
those
10.
kids.
Gen Z, yeah, because they're American, right? Because they don't say Z.
I feel so stupid. Like I was sort of, oh, Generation Z, yeah, that makes sense. When you said Gen Z, oh no, I have heard of it.
Yeah, Gen Z, because they don't say
Gens.
Z. Gens. And they hate the Millennials, who's the one next to them, okay? So which is probably what you are.
Yeah.
You're millennial. So millennial is like 25 to 40, or a bit older. I'm like right on the cusp.
Of millennial and boomer?
No way, man.
Are they the 50s?
Gen X.
Gen X.
Right? We were talking about Nirvana earlier. Yeah. Nirvana were Gen X. So Gen X is people born 65 to 80. Not age, 1965 to 1980, right? And so Gen X were like, hey, we're not doing it like that. We're not doing it like that anymore. Yeah, that was kind of the vibe. Grunge, yeah. Pearl Jam, yeah.
Do you think that's unique to Gen X?
They like to think so. This is it. I can't even say it's me. I don't know what I am. They didn't think about the people caught in the middle. People on the cusp, you know, where you go, oh, are you a Gen X? Because it's getting like the Jets and the Sharks and all of this, the T-Birds and the Crater Faces gang, right? All of that. Whereas, well, which one are you? Which one are you? I don't know. And the problem with that is you're not welcomed by either, because it's not like, oh, I'm in between. So both sides like, hey, come in.
What do you identify like, internally as? What do you feel more like?
I don't.
As you get older, do you feel more Gen X than millennial?
Probably, but I look at how old some of them are, because the ones born in 1965 are like, nearly 60, right? So I'm like, I can't be attached to them, surely. But then millennials, I don't really have much in common with. What would we talk about? They're always complaining. I never complain. But we're going to have to get over it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the new horoscopes, I suppose.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to get what your generation's going to do today, sort of thing.
Do you know what? You probably hit on something there. That's probably what they'll do.
There's a market there.
You could probably market that to guys, you see. You could market that to guys on YouTube, I reckon.
Yeah.
You could go, well, you couldn't market horoscopes to, because they're like,
not manly enough.
I don't believe in horoscopes. Blokes would say, all the girls do, right? Which is useful to know. It's a useful tool, you know, like, oh, I'm a Scorpio, you know,
Just
and then
read
they
the
all.
paper for, oh, you a Scorpio? Told that straight. Yeah, great. Okay, perfect.
Well, actually, the reaction I tend to get is really negative when I say that. They're like, oh no, and they're like, leave. I could probably lie. They find out your birthday eventually if you do anything with.
If you're in the long game, yeah.
You could.
You could get a fake passport though, and then they'd never know.
Well, you go on holiday without ever showing. Oh, can I see your picture? Like, no. It's not too suspicious. It's just like, no.
I don't know if that's socially acceptable.
If you kept them apart from your family, you could fake your birthday for a long time.
Oh yeah, just be like the Queen or the King and have two.
I'll just go, oh, like the first time you meet them, what star sign do you like? Oh, I really like Geminis. I'm like, okay. Oh, I'm a Gemini.
Yeah, nice.
Sometime in June. Good summer birthday.
That would be nice. It'd be nice to have a summer birthday, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, June. Oh yeah, that's June the 14th or something like that.
You'd have to learn them. You'd have to be.
I'd have to remember what my birthday
you'd have to
was.
be careful, but also you'd have to know where each one was, so that you could adapt to each situation.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean learn? Oh, based on yeah, that's true. I suppose I just had an innate understanding of. Yeah, you're right. Having said,
It's a lot of work.
well, hopefully she does. If I just I'm a Gemini, and she goes, as long as I was in the ballpark, I don't think you'd get really questioned. I think they'd probably just believe you.
Yeah, sure.
What star sign are you? I'm a Gemini. Are you? You know, I don't know.
Prove it.
It depends,
it's a lie they're not
because
expecting.
but if they're close, they might be like, oh, when's your birthday? You need a
I'd say,
contingency.
well,
You suddenly bash out a day that's the wrong side of the day.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't tell people that until we've had sex. And
That's
then
a
you
good
really,
line.
then you see you kind of.
Then they have. Oh, it whets
They
the
have
appetite.
to, don't
yeah.
they? They have to, because they'll be like, well, I have to know.
They want to know, yeah.
I have to know. It's powerful. So, basically, demographic collapse is happening in slow motion, which is why they don't talk about it, because even though it probably is the thing that's going to have a massive effect on your future, it isn't as sexy as stuff burning down right now, or a natural disaster that you can blame on unnatural causes.
They never made a speed on an iceberg.
No.
No. And you only see the tip. Remember that. Only 10% above the water. It's more education. So what you need to do as a YouTube viewer, a responsible one, because I will not have irresponsible viewers. They've already turned off anyway, haven't they? Because we got rid of them with the last slew of people that we got rid of. So it's only the cool people. Hey, Fonzie, yeah? It's only the cool people left. But make sure you look into population collapse, depending on your age. If you're a woman, which is uncommon on my channel, and YouTube a little bit. But if you are, there are some, and you're of childbearing age, start to lower your standards a little bit. More in terms of looks and personality, all right? Because there are some good guys out there, they just don't look that good necessarily. So just go, look the other way, just put up with it, and do your bit for England. If you're a guy of the slightly wider child-giving age,
Colossally wider.
a lot wider, but it becomes irresponsible. Okay, then lower your standards a bit in terms of looks again, because we've got to pump these. Because in this country, you could just about salvage it. But if you're off in Red China, if you're over there, there's nothing they can do. It's too late.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's too late.
Start importing them.
No, they'd never do that.
Not the business model.
No, they wouldn't do that. So take it seriously. We'll be back for the final part very soon. Another message coming up that will excite and amaze? I don't know. Write in the comments if it did amaze. All right, see you in a minute.
Join us on BP6 News with special guest Catherine, Princess of Wales, as she talks exclusively about her new rap album, The Streets Ain't Ready for the Crown, and how she keeps her hair so shiny. Next!
And we're back, part 4, which is, as far as I'm concerned, the final part, unless people keep filming when I've stopped. Don't think that will happen. Now, this is Activism half hour. I can't guarantee it will be half an hour, but then most activists can't guarantee that the thing they're trying to activate will happen either. So I think you've got a nice synergy there. This is where I'd like to think about, you know, campaigns in general. What campaigns are going on right now, and what campaigns could we lead to bring about a safer, more prosperous, I don't usually want prosperity, a more safer world for people. Okay, all the people. We're don't want to exclude, apart from those bloody capitalists. Keep them out, yeah, or something. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, first off, if you're a long-term viewer, and I know some of you are because you write letters, you will have watched the first podcast we did, and this is the 4th one. Okay, 4 times better. Don't know.
4 times happened.
4 times as much.
4 times a lady.
4 times. Oh, we never went that far, did he, Lionel? So, if you're watching the first one, we talked about our anti-negativity campaign. That is exclusive to this channel. If you see anti-negativity campaigns on other channels, they copy directly from us. That isn't, you know, it's not some claim I'm making. That is a fact. They copied from us. Say no to negativity. Okay. Now that is kind of like it isn't like this, but this is an analogy, right? You know how in the book, do you read books? You know how in the film 1984 with John Hurt, although I find the Peter Cushing one actually quite a lot scarier. They have like the 2-minute hate, right? Big Brother shows up, they're doing the 2-minute hate, and just kind of yelling at a screen and all of that. Well, what we do is like the 2-minute anti-negativity, right? Or longer sometimes. So we do even better than they do. So we go, 3 or 4 minutes of just not being negative about anything. So we can do that now. This is something that you should practice at home. I know, like, some of you will be in situations where it will be easy to be negative. Okay, be easy to be negative. It would be justified. That's the worst. That's the worst of it. Justified to be negative. Okay, and I'm sorry that you're in that situation, but I can only change the road that you're on one brick at a time, and that's what we're trying to do here. So if you copy us, we're going to, right from now, I've got a clock over there, from now, no negativity, right? Okay.
Yes.
Right.
That's it.
Affirmative.
Affirmative. So we don't say the N word. Don't say that. Don't say the N word. Now, not that one.
Well, don't say that one.
Oh, it's
Avoid
hard,
all
isn't it?
N-words.
No, it's not.
Oh, not. How's your week been?
Superb.
Brilliant.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
What about yourself?
It was. Oh, actually, no. I have to. Well, this is the problem because I don't want. Well, the time out.
Okay.
Right. Just for a second, we'll go back to it. But I didn't have a very good week. Is it better for me to tell the truth or lie about that during?
This is a question that we've had about the campaign before. Is negativity just saying outwardly negative things, or is it an internal struggle as well? Is it truth? Is it lies? Is it?
Yeah.
It's a complex.
It's not as easy as you think, is it?
I say there's very little things in this world that can't have a positive spin put on them. So
That's
if your
beautiful.
week
That's
was
beautiful.
We
He's
should
playing
clock
again.
back in.
Is he
We should
playing
clock back
again?
in because that was
Yeah,
beautiful.
okay, so go. Say that again.
There's very, very few things in this world that can't have a positive spin put upon them.
Yes.
I agree.
So if you've had a bad week, there's always something good that's happened in that week that you can highlight.
Week's nearly over.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what is? Well, when do your weeks end though? I mean, mine's a Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
Oh,
So
mine's a Friday.
Yeah.
But I respect.
But it's called the weekend.
Our difference of opinion.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. All right.
Some
Yeah,
calendars start with Sunday, to be fair.
Why do they call it the weekend?
Because it's the end of the week.
Yeah, it's kind of
The end of the
contradicts.
The
But
bookends.
how can both days be the end of the week?
Like I say, if you look at some calendars, they probably end on Saturday and then start on Sunday, so it's the
Never-
end,
I've never
the
liked that.
bookends.
I do like that, and I think you might as well.
Well, if we're still doing, yeah, because we're still in the minute, I'll say,
how
look,
are we looking?
I would say, yeah, like 20 seconds. I would say that of the two available things, which is the week starting on Monday or the week starting on Sunday, I prefer the week to start on Monday. However, I'm not going to be violent towards anybody, verbally even, let alone physically, because physically is usually worse than verbal, right? Who thinks Sunday, even if, is it over?
Yes.
Even if they're definitely wrong, which they are.
Monday is Monday's day one.
It's the brightening up. You start with the moon day, the Monday, and then you end with the Sunday, which is like the lightest day.
Brilliant.
Going upwards.
It's the Norwegians, wasn't it? The Vikings, yeah?
Those poor people.
That was them, wasn't it?
Thor.
That's the one everybody remembers. Thor's Day, which it is today.
And Woden's Day, Wednesday.
Right.
Freya's day.
Freya's Day.
Yeah, well done. You remember more of it than I do. We did get taken through it, but I think I was in the infants, so it's a long time. It
Yeah.
drifts away. But my long-term memory has been remarked upon. Now, one campaign, as good as that is, and I think if everybody engaged in that was about 4 minutes.
I feel
lighter,
lifted
yeah.
and cleansed. Yeah.
Yeah, if everybody engaged in that, then their lives would improve. I think that's undoubtedly the case. But one campaign is never enough when there are other numbers, such as 2. And I want to discuss with people my ideas for a second campaign. That again, I mean, is about, well, this is what I think. What I want to discuss is what is it about? Because we've nailed positivity and we know how that can affect people and improve their lives. But what about other things? Can you think of a good thing that we could do? Where it's like, oh, they did that thing and it was really good. Because I think if you start there and then you work backwards, that's what most campaigns should
Start
be.
from the good thing and then
What's
figure
the
out
good?
how.
What's the good thing we want to do?
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, and this is the campaign that would make it happen. I was thinking though of a template for a campaign.
Okay.
And the perfect template is, if you remember, if you go back 11 years to 2012, there was a campaign called Kony 2012. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Now, that'll be on YouTube, so you can look at it when we've finished. Just like to remind yourself, what was Kony 2012? Kony 2012 was an American guy and his kid who got a lot of people together, like in a room, like lots of rooms, wearing all the same t-shirt and like jumping around, in order to bring down an African warlord.
Who'd kidnapped some.
Well, he did.
children,
Well, he
I
did.
think.
Yeah.
Just trying to make
but
him famous so people would pay attention to him.
Yeah, people. Yes, that's right. So it was like, oh, if we make this guy and his crimes really famous,
International pressure.
then people, the UN will go.
Did it work?
We're still talking about it. I don't know if he's still going.
I can't remember if there was an end point.
Well,
Because the thing with some campaigns, they don't really show you how it ended.
no, I don't know, but I've got a feeling that Kony is stronger than ever.
Oh.
I don't think I'm not sure. In the comments, if you know him, say. But my understanding was that he was just like, he was kind of like because he's a bad guy apparently, like the negativity just empowered him even further.
Yeah. Did it pull people to the cause maybe as well?
You think I'm bad now? I'll show you, that kind of vibe.
You run that risk with these campaigns, don't you? Maybe there were some people sitting around kicking their heels thinking, I wish there was a warlord that I could go and join. And then suddenly there's this big international attention on Kony and
There was a lot of effort put into the presentation because it was all launched on the same day in 2012, and I remember it. I think I was on Twitter and all this hashtag Kony 2012. I was like, what's that? It's everywhere. What is it? And you click on it and you'd watch a kind of 10-minute video. As I say, lots of people in t-shirts, running around, lots of people kind of in quite affluent areas, and lots of children talking about or attempting to talk about complex subjects, which is always, do you know how every kind of vox pop session on TV news, not about dangerous things that have happened, but where they'll talk to a kid and get like well, I thought it was really good. Yeah. And you got that kind of level.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, to be honest, half the adults is just the same with a deeper voice. But, these what they did was they said, laddie, or whatever he's like, his son, I'm sure it was his son, who would now be, I guess he'd be about 20 now. He'd say to him, talk about how bad Mr. Kony is in Africa. He'd go, oh yeah, I don't like Mr. Kony because he's bad to kids. And it's like, well, it's technically, I mean, I think it sounds, there was never a trial, but it's kind of spot on. And it's accurate, but there's not
a lot of pizzazz, is there?
No, it's sort of playing to the heartstrings. This child is unhappy about the things that have happened to children that aren't like him, and it all went a bit south because, like the guy running it, do you remember this?
I think, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about this bit.
I'm pretty sure he got naked. Is that right? And behaved inappropriately in public, like in a bank or something.
For the protest?
No,
so like,
I think
trying to
all
highlight
the
what he was
international
doing.
attention.
He wasn't. He didn't expect. I don't think he. Well, he hoped that his campaign would be effective, but it's like
there was a lot of focus on him.
Yeah, because people wanted to know more, and all he'd done was make a really flashy kind of marketing style video, right? So he's like made his flashy video, hoping that the UN will go, this Mr. Kony is beyond the pale. We're gonna bomb Africa, and hopefully we hit him with one of our bombs. Yeah, so they're like, yeah, because that's what they do, right? Because it's not
up and down.
They don't know where he is.
Carpet.
They don't know where he is. They just have to.
The scattergun effect.
We reckon we got him.
Carpet
we reckon
bomb,
we got him.
North to south.
They've got to get rid of them because they've got to buy more of them. Okay, it's got to get. If you've got a bomb, right, as a military power, it's no good just having them sat there. You need to fire them.
They'll go off eventually.
They will go off, and there's nothing worse than an off bomb. So we shouldn't joke because it's serious. And so Mr. Kony is expecting to be carpet bombed, but it never happened. The UN were not that interested in the flashy video. And the fella gets under all this pressure. He feels like, I've got to keep... Kony 2012 isn't doing what I was hoping. It's nearly 2013, which means we can't talk about it anymore, even though we're trying to. What can I do? I just think he got overawed by the pressure. He got naked and was just like walking around in the street, kind of slapping the ground and just talking to himself. I don't think he he didn't attack anybody.
No.
But he was filmed doing that, and that was enough to kind of hurt his credibility, I suppose.
It's silly that I mean, obviously not a great look for
No.
someone who's trying to campaign, but
The campaign
the
itself
campaign
is
itself
still the campaign.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
well,
I think he was then just like a
didn't
point of
know.
ridicule, and this was 2012 as well. So now we're much more, I think, attuned to mental health problems
Yeah,
and that
do
sort
you
of
think?
thing. Whereas back then, everyone was just like, "What a freak!"
Rub some dirt on it and run off.
Yeah.
There wasn't. Yeah, there was probably an element of that, but also, I mean, even in today's attuned times, which I think is a good way of putting it, you would probably say that hasn't helped. I mean, it really. If the spokesperson for the campaign is wandering around naked, kind of yelling in the street, you would go,
That's not
"Is this being
going to
run
cause no
properly?"
damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for Kony, you wanna
2024
bring it
because
back.
we're running out of time, and I don't want to fall into his trap
Yeah.
of feeling pressurized because if we did Kony 2023, right,
enormous pressure.
then I'd be like, God, we've got like weeks to sort this out.
Yeah.
You would be naked in the street in like 10
Yeah,
days.
in December,
Yeah.
right? This guy lived in California, so he was okay. You walk around naked in California. I think you actually can now. Don't think you could then, but it's warm enough, right?
So you affected that
He was a
change then.
trailblazer, yeah.
Yeah, he was. So there should be more naked. If people want to be naked in California, they can do it.
That was his other campaign that he was running.
Maybe
Multi
that-
2023.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the real one. Maybe that was the real one. So I'm saying 24. So we've got like a full. So we've got kind of 3 months to take a kind of running jump at the launch, and then we've got a full year of campaigns. We do a lot more than just a flashy video. I'm not going to have any kids in the video. I want there to be credibility, right? So I don't need an 8-year-old saying. But the problem I've got is I don't have a target. What I'm doing is I'm hijacking Kony, but I don't care about Kony. If he's done bad things, I wish him ill. If he's done all of these bad things, I wish him ill. Okay, I could do no more. I'm not going. I wouldn't know how to find him.
Right.
If he's in the Congolese jungle somewhere, I ain't finding him.
Probably wouldn't want to find him. I
So
suppose.
here's a question. If the target of the campaign is not going to be Kony, and you're not going to use kids, and you don't want to run around the streets naked, and you're going to have more than a flashy video, why call it Kony 2024?
Just the association. It was such an effective. I mean, they really did nail the marketing on that.
Yeah.
We're talking about it 11 years later, and we know what we're talking about. You remember things about it. You remember things about it. And would you say, on average, you're people that really pay attention to things?
Depends on the thing.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't go, oh yeah, I pay loads, right? You'd be like somewhere in the middle sector.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cursory
like, I pay
glance, maybe
attention
a
to
scroll.
things, and I pay attention. Oh, that was interesting. What was that? A bit sort of there, yeah, like they're in the 40 to 60 band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in there, and they remember it from like 11 years ago. So we just hijacked that. Got nothing to do with the guy. The Kony 2012 people are not going to do anything about it because it was ages ago, and hopefully things have improved. I mean, he didn't stay naked. I mean, and that was 10 years ago plus. So he's
I've not checked back in with him. I
probably
wonder how he's doing.
probably is at some
Someone probably
point
bought him some
every
jeans.
day. But look, I just think it's a good starting point.
Definitely.
People know what the campaign. They've heard of the campaign, so you immediately go, Kony 2024. Are they going after that guy again?
Piques their
and then
interest,
you go, click. You go, oh no, they're not. Ooh, yeah.
But
and
what
what we
are
need
they?
to do is that sound I just made. Ooh, yeah. What do we come up with that makes them make that sound?
Well, I have something that's quite close to my heart.
Oh, yeah.
I think we should let pandas die.
Ooh,
And we should,
that's a different kind of.
and we should
Fair enough.
stop. We should stop trying to force pandas to be alive.
Yeah,
Okay, hear me out.
yeah.
Because thousands of years ago, the panda was actually a predator and was much more like a grizzly bear. But they got lazy
Yeah.
and decided they didn't want to hunt anymore, and so they just started eating the thing that was nearest around them, which is bamboo. They actually can't digest bamboo properly, and bamboo has such little nutritional content that they have to eat it for like 20 hours a day. Also, They don't want to have sex.
No, they don't.
They don't want to mate with each other anymore.
Really narrow window.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, all of these factors considered, do they want to be alive? And I think the answer is no.
Yeah.
That's a
And
very good point.
we could save a lot of resources and time and suffering for the pandas if we just release
don't do
them all
anything.
and just let them
do their thing.
Yeah.
let nature take its
So
course.
in about 40 years, there'd just be no pandas because
Yeah.
they'd have all died.
And I wouldn't feel bad because
No.
it's their fault.
Yeah.
We did all we could. We've tried for
did try.
decades to I mean,
Spent
we
a lot
probably
of
also
money.
probably shot a lot of them as well. But we tried to right that wrong, and they wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
Maybe evolution would kick in and they develop some new skill that
Yeah,
became useful.
maybe we're holding them back.
We've
Start
got
producing
there's-
Wi-Fi or something.
So maybe I
There's a-
shouldn't say.
there's a chance.
Maybe the campaign shouldn't be kill the pandas. It should just be release the pandas.
Release, yeah, get them out of there.
Yeah.
Release. But I do like, but having said that, I do like the idea of like just stopping trying to help things that are going extinct.
Mhm.
Yeah. Where you just go, right, look, honestly, if we weren't really helping you, you'd be dead. We can't do that anymore, right? Because you are choosing death. You're choosing it. You're choosing it.
They're resistant to our
Yeah,
help.
you're
So
like, oh, they're really, like you're throwing these creatures together. Come, mate. Some of them do, and you put in millions of pounds worth of effort to get a baby, and you go, oh God, we've got them for a bit longer. So if we had a campaign that was just effectively let things go extinct, so that's brilliant. So, ooh,
It's very powerful. Like you see an article saying this person wants to kill the well, not kill the pandas, wants to let pandas die.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
yeah.
And then you
What
have
is
a
that?
quite
Click.
Kony
cogent argument,
2024.
Kony 2024. What's that? Ooh, that's That's more of an ooh that would make. Ooh, let things go extinct. Let it happen. Leave them alone.
Yeah, just
leave the
them
animals alone.
It's a kindness.
It is, because look, at the end of the day, you aren't killing anything really.
Exactly.
You're just letting it die. You're just saying, forget it. We've got videos of pandas.
Yeah.
We've done that now. I mean, that's one thing. 100 years ago, you might go, oh, it'd be nice if we had some moving pictures, like really good quality moving pictures of this creature before we let it die.
Like the dodo, we've not got a lot of
No,
physical
like a
evidence of that,
stuffed
have
one
we? But
somewhere.
yeah,
or
but that's
something,
not.
But
I mean, in 5 years' time, we can get an AI hologram of a panda, probably on our phones.
Yeah.
So
they'll still be alive in 5 years. Everybody who cares to see one still has a chance to do so.
yeah,
But we just don't.
we just don't mention
Don't
them.
force them together anymore.
Yeah.
And we just go like, leave it. Just leave it. Okay. No more pandas. Loads of video of them, because as they're on the way out, people are just going to shoot tons of video, aren't they? And it's just going to be endless. You'll have like Panda Tube, won't you? Just be like, oh right, it's got its own website, you know. I don't know. You could paint a polar bear as well if you were just a bit of black. It's just the ears and around the eyes, and there's like black arms, isn't it? That's it.
What is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the difference between a panda and a polar bear.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
In markings, I know they live in slightly different places, but
I thought you were talking about a separate campaign that was paint a polar bear.
paint a polar bear for people who miss pandas in 40 years when there aren't any. Yeah, because they'll still be polar. Listen, I know they do, polar bears, no. And then when they actually add up the ice, they go, oh, actually, there's loads of it. They're fine, all right? If there's one thing I'm going to come away from this saying, polar bears are all right. They're okay. And they'll breed.
Oh yeah, they love it.
They love it. And
They can't stop.
And they are killers. They will kill you. If you go up there, be careful. You take a powerful rifle, because
Or some bamboo, apparently that's quite an attractive prospect for a
Yeah.
bear.
maybe you
You wanna make them
If you
docile.
tried this,
Yeah.
if you tried this, I think at the point
It's a hard
where the
sell.
polar bear is in range of the bamboo that you're holding, you've got problems.
That's a tough sell.
That's hard. That's hard to do. Okay, so we're gonna give it more thought, but I think we're heading down the right track. Let things go extinct, for God's sake. Kony 2024. As a marketing, that's on. I tell you what, Nat King Cole. What's Nat King Cole's biggest song? Unforgettable. That's what that is. Now, that's the end of the show. There'll probably be another one because I ain't got nothing else to do with my life. Bye.
I gotta be honest, I have no idea what to make of that. Some things in life just aren't worth thinking too hard about. But you must have enjoyed it, or you wouldn't have got this far. The only fair way to settle things would be to like the stupid video and subscribe to the channel. At least then you can win the argument with yourself that you haven't completely wasted your time here.